Okay, so just driving home from work here, decided to, turn on the rear wiper, which I never use, ever, so I don't know why I decided to do that, and it got stuck in the middle of the window, just like that. Won't move at all. So it looks like you guys are getting another repair video here. I don't know if it's a fuse, I don't know if we have to rebuild that motor, or if that's even possible, but stay tuned, we'll get it figured out. First thing you want to do, open the fuse box, check the fuse. The proper fuse is M24, 25 amp fuse. That's that one right there. Pull it out. This one looks pretty good. Take your multimeter, do a continuity test to confirm that that fuse is good. As you can see, the wiper's stuck at the halfway point. We know it's not a fuse that's causing the issue. It's time to take off that plastic cover under the glass. Just squeeze it, pull it apart. Just like that. There's your wiper motor. Next step is to unplug the wiper motor. It's just a little 4-pin connector with only 3 pins in there. Now we're going to do a voltage test. Right now the wiper is set to the off position. We're going to switch it on. Get your voltage meter out again, set it to DC volts. That's this little symbol here. Take your test leads, plug it into the brown wire and the white wire. As you can see, we're getting 12 volts here. That's a good sign. Now take your leads and plug it into the brown and blue wire. We are getting 12 volts there as well. That tells me that the problem lies within the motor itself. The fix for this is replacing the motor. Remove this 10mm nut. Gear puller or 2 flathead screwdrivers, or just whatever you have to remove the wiper. Pull off the little rubber seal. There's quite a bit of corrosion in there. We might be able to clean this up and get it working again. There's a good chance it's just seized. Now you want to remove that nut right there. That nut is not going to be easy to get off. It's really corroded. It's pretty seized up. It's kind of scary because you're working with glass, but you're going to have to put a lot of torque on there to get that nut off. So don't be too scared. You got to do what you got to do. Remove these 2 nuts. They're 10mm. Remove this nut and remove this nut. Next step is to remove this washer and this plastic piece. It's very corroded on there. I'm going to have to tap, pry, WD-40. I'm not exactly sure how I'll get it off yet, but I'll let you know. So I used vice grips, WD-40, and I twisted the washer and the plastic piece off. It took some effort, but it's just the way it is. After you get the washers off, just push that shaft through that rubber grommet and pull the motor out. Like that. Let's try and rebuild this thing. That's the inside. Grease looks good, it's not old or hard, it doesn't look like water got in there. Let's keep tearing it apart. Got the motor hooked up to a 12-volt source. We'll apply some power. The motor's working. So the problem is in the gearbox. The problem with this gearbox is the output shaft is seized. Spray a bunch of WD-40 on there and let it sit. Remove all the gears and these little plastic clips. They just slide right off until it looks like that. Next step is to clean that shaft up and those threads with a wire brush. I'm going to use a bench grinder with a wire wheel. It's just a little easier that way. Clean it up till it looks like this. Thread a nut onto the output shaft and use a press or a hammer to tap out that shaft. Now that you have the shaft clean, pack it with synthetic grease, pack that hole with synthetic grease, and start putting it all back together. Hook it back up to 12 volts. Looks like it's working. Now it's time to reinstall the motor. If you've made it this far, you shouldn't have any problem spinning this thing back in. That's pretty much it. We'll see if it works. Alright, here's the moment of truth. We got her all back together. Let's see what happens. Works perfect. So it looks like this is the fix for this problem.